Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to our first ever Nintendo eShop update video. Much like our PlayStation 4 and PS Vita PlayStation Store updates, we're going to take a look at all the new releases that come out on the Nintendo Switch system. So, the Nintendo Switch has received its first update. We're going to take a look at it, see some of the new games that have come out since release. So first up, one of the first games that has come out that is new is VOEZ, brought to us by Fly High Works. VOEZ is a colorful rhythm game filled with beautiful visuals. Much like games like Sonra Kagura and Guitar Hero, you're going to try to match falling notes falling from the sky, but instead of pressing different buttons, it is touchscreen only. VOEZ is played by touching falling notes in time with music, set in a fictional town named Long Kong Town, which is modeled after Yilin in Taiwan. The story is centered around 6 high school students who form a band that eventually achieves international fame. Gameplay is simple, requiring players to touch vertical falling notes that have hit a bar on the bottom of the screen. Depending on the song, the number of lanes for the notes increases and shifts side to side, making the screen look as if it's dancing to the music. There are over 100 songs, 3 difficulty levels, and players will be able to choose difficulty according to their skills so that they may enjoy all pieces. There's actually closer to about 340 songs, but, you know, I'm not nitpicking. The supported languages include Japanese, English, Korean, Chinese. The supported play modes include tabletop mode. It supports 1 players, and the required space is 620 megabytes. The next new release that we have is Blaster Master Zero by Untitled Creators. Mutant Scum never learns. Blaster Master is back once again, and the game is $12.49 Canadian. Now keep in mind, all of my store updates are Canadian currency, so if you are in another part of the world, it may be a different price for you in your eShop. Now to check out the game description, what do they have to say about the game? Blaster Master Zero is an action exploration game done in an 8-bit top-down and side-view style that harkens back to the golden age of the NES. Using the original 1988 NES title Blaster Master from Sunsoft as a base, Blaster Master Zero has many new additions such as new areas and bosses, as well as new gameplay elements such as extra sub-weapons, improved gameplay, and more robust scenarios, refined and expanded exploration mechanics, and much, much more. In the near future on Earth, a young man named Jason Frednick boards the battle vehicle Sophia 3 and sets off on an adventure in the subterranean depths of the planet below. On the side view maps, take control of Sophia 3 and explore your surroundings as you search for the entrance to the dungeon where the area boss lurks. On the side, once you find the dungeon entrance, exit Sophia 3 and make your way inside as Jason and take on Mutant inside the top-down mode. Defeat the mid-bosses and area bosses to acquire new items, sub-weapons, upgrades for Sophia 3, and Jason's equipment, as well as new abilities, and be able to move on to the next area. What awaits Jason at the end of his long adventure? I guess you have to play to find out. The game supports both languages, Japanese as well as English. It supports all 3 play modes, TV, tabletop, handheld. The game ranks in at 186 megabytes, so it'll easily fit on your built-in memory. It also supports 1 to 2 players if you are looking for another co-op game to play with your loved ones, and maybe people that you don't even like that much, but also have a Nintendo Switch near you. Another new game coming up, like many of them this week, this is a NEOGEO classic. NEOGEO Metal Slug 3, brought to us by Hamster. The Supreme Dot graphics take full advantage of versatile weapons and aim for the whole route. If you have played any Metal Slugs in the past, this may be up your alley, considering that it keeps to form. Metal Slug 3 is an action game released by SNK in the Millennial 2000. It is actually the 4th entry in the Metal Slug series of games. Players will be able to use 4 different characters as they take to the battlefield with an array of weaponry. New slugs, such as Drill Slug, will also show up in gameplay, leading to even more fierce and exciting action. The Aka NEOGEO series has faithfully reproduced many classic NEOGEO masterpieces. Players can change various game settings such as game difficulty and also reproduce the atmosphere of arcade display settings at that time. Players can also compete against each other from all over the world with their high scores and leaderboards. Please enjoy the masterpiece that built a generation for video games to come. It is $9.87 Canadian, a little bit of an odd price. Might as well have made it $9.99. The game supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, as well as all 3 play modes. It supports 1 to 2 players and is 174 megabytes. So once again, it'll easily fit on your console without the addition of another SD card. Another NEOGEO game joining the lineup is World Heroes Perfect. Who is the winner? Who will survive? Outrunner in the fighting beyond the generations. World Hero Perfect is a fighting game released by SNK in '95. 16 characters based on historical figures battle it out to decide who is the strongest. New elements such as hero gauge, extra attack, and guard attacks have been added to this version, leading to a more exciting matches. The Aka NEOGEO series once again remains faithful and produces many classic NEOGEO masterpieces, like basically every new game that has come to the Switch. Just like the other NEOGEO title, it supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, all 3 play modes, as well as 2-player co-op. This game is 135 megabytes in size, fighting arcade genre. So if you have an itch for an arcade game and you want to get your fight on, this may be the game for you since the fighting scene is rather small on the Nintendo Switch. Another NEOGEO game, NEOGEO Shock Troopers. 8 mercenaries challenge the monstrous terrorist organization. Thrilling action shooting. Shock Troopers is an action game released by SNK in '97. Players take part in a rescue operation for Dr. George and his granddaughter who have been kidnapped by the evil organization Bloody Scorpion. The game features the ability for players to choose which route to progress, adding even more replayability to the title. Much like all of the other NEOGEOs, you can change the difficulty as well as recreate arcade atmosphere. Game supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, Italian. Supports all 3 play modes, 1 to 2 players, and is 128 megabytes in size. Another NEOGEO game coming out this week is Waku 7, another fighting game in case you want to get your fight on. Struggle for Waku Ball. Waku 7 is a fighting game released by Sunsoft in '96. Players will control characters who have one of 7 Waku balls that grant wishes and gather the remaining balls, similar to the DBZ franchise. Let's gather power and exciting gauge and attack all over with the personality-rich technique of each character. You can change the difficulty as well as compete online in leaderboards. The game supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, as well as all 3 supported play modes. The game is 139 megabytes in size and supports 1 to 2 players. Once again, maybe you want to have a co-op throwdown on your sofa. This may be the game for you. Another fighting game during the lineup is NEOGEO The King of Fighters 1998. King of Fighters 98. King of Fighter series Orochi Saga Dream All-Star Battle. King of Fighters 98 is a fighting game released by SNK in surprisingly 1998. In the previous installment of King of Fighter 97, the story of the Orochi Saga reached its exciting conclusion. As a result, the next entry in the series, the King of Fighters 98, was released as a Dream Match version of the King of Fighters series. It is one of the most popular and well-known versions of the game, particularly thanks to the many balance changes that received high praise from fans around the world. Once again, you can change difficulty as well as compete online in leaderboards. It supports all 3 play modes, 1 to 2 players. It clocks in at 193 megabytes. It supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, as well as Italian, and like every other NEOGEO title, It is $9.87, so across the board they all have the same features and they all have the same price. Finally, the last game to make it to the Switch from the NEOGEO collection, NEOGEO NOM 1997, and I'm very sure that we will have many more NEOGEO titles coming to the Switch in the near future. Classic action in the early days of NEOGEO run through the Hell's Battlefield. NOM 1997 is an action game released by SNK in 1990. It was one of the first ever games released on the NEOGEO system. Players will take on the role of U.S. Special Forces soldiers brawling a harsh battlefield as they try to survive a series of deadly firefights. Players will need to use collectible power-ups and other abilities such as their evasive roll to complete their missions. Once again, you can change the difficulty as well as compete online with your score. The game supports Japanese, English, Spanish, French, German, and Italian, all 3 play modes. It is a very small 88 megabytes, and it is 1 to 2 players. This is the smallest game on the Switch to date. Now finally, probably what everyone is talking about, the Splatoon 2 Global Testfire Open Beta Demo. Free preview of the Splatoon game during the Global Testfire phase. As you see here, for 3 days between March 24th and March 26th, you will be able to play Splatoon 2 during these designated times. Now remember, these are Pacific times, so if you're in a different zone, you might have to do a little bit of math. And when this game comes out, I will be covering this game and live streaming it on every time you see here, except Eastern time, so throw a few hours onto it. I'll put the schedule up on my Twitter account so you all know what the Eastern time zone is. The Splatoon 2 game arrives this summer, but we're offering an early chance to get your feet wet in Splatoon 2 Global Testfire. Jump online and fight it out in Fast and Furious 4-on-4 Turf War battles and try out all new weapons. This Global Testfire event will only be active during a few short time periods between March 24th and the 26th. Don't miss this early chance to get inked. You'll need an internet connection to participate in the Splatoon 2 Global Testfire. To join, download the Global Testfire demo from Nintendo eShop. On launch day, the Global Testfire will allow players to test 4 different main weapons, including the new Splat Dualies, as well as remixed versions of the iconic Splat Roller and Splat Charger. So once again, here we have the dates and the times listed below. It is running only during one weekend, as you can see, Friday to Sunday. Internet connection is required. There is no single player, so you will have to go online. This demo supports English, Spanish, French. It supports all 3 play modes. It is only 410 megabytes in size, and it supports 8 players online. So if you do have a Nintendo Switch, or if you get one before the Global Testfire goes live, I highly recommend you download it. There's no downside, completely free. And like many of you, I am eagerly awaiting Splatoon 2 to be released this summer on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I hope all of you enjoyed our first ever eShop update video. Please remember to subscribe so you never miss an update, and leave a ratings below, drop a thumbs up, and leave a comment letting me know any games that you would like to see me cover on the K-Storm Network.